When I was in junior year of high school, I had my first relationship. His name was Mike. He was a senior at a different high school. The next town over, we met through Facebook. He messaged me, and we started talking. From there, we started hanging out and going to each other's games. I'd go to his football games. He'd come to my softball games. We officially became boyfriend-girlfriend after a few weeks. Since we were in high school, though, we didn't go on a lot of traditional dates like dinner or drinks. We were just kids. Still, our dates usually consisted of getting burritos, going for drives, or hanging out at his place, since my parents were always home and made it awkward in case we wanted to do anything. The best way I could describe Mike: he was a bit of a hothead. He was big for a 17-year-old. That's why he played football. But he didn't hang out with the jocks. He hung out more with the stoner crowd and the regular crowd. At least that's what he told me. I didn't go to the same school as him, so I didn't see who he was with during lunch. I also didn't really meet a lot of his friends. We mostly hung out, just the two of us as opposed to group things, since he lived kind of far though, and I couldn't drive yet. It did get annoying. And truthfully, I started to develop feelings for this boy Andrew, at my own school and my grade. Around the same time, I felt myself losing interest in Mike. I wanted to test things out with Andrew, so one night when Mike was asking to hang out, I asked him to pick me up so we could talk. He knew right away something was off. When I said that, when he picked me up, we went for a drive and I told him that I think we should take a break. He refused to accept that I was serious and angrily demanded to know what he did. When I told him, it's just that I felt the spark wasn't there anymore. He got so mad that he punched his dashboard, leaving a big indent in it. He started yelling and scaring me, so I was about to get out of the car, but he stopped me and put his hand on my shoulder and said no, 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 and then asked me not to leave. He told me he's just angry, but that he'd drive me home. He put the car back in drive and started driving us. As we drove, he kept getting angrier as he kept asking for more details of what he did wrong. He started blowing stop signs, and that's when I realized we weren't going in the direction of my parents' house. I asked him to pull over and let me out, and he yelled, no. We were approaching some wooded area, and that's when I started getting really scared. I had never seen him like this before, but he was showing me a crazy side of himself. I got out of the car when he stopped it on the side of some quiet road. He yelled for me to come back, but I didn't. My mom came to pick me up. Mike sent me an apology text later that night that I didn't respond to. 2 nights later, I left my house to walk to Andrew's house, who had plans to hang out with. He lived only 2 blocks away from me. On my way there, I spotted someone across the street not too far behind me, walking about the same pace as me. They were wearing a hoodie with the hood up. I couldn't see their face. Foot traffic on our block wasn't too common, but it also wasn't super weird either. The closer I got to Andrew's house, the closer the person across the street got. As I continued up the street, I turned again and saw the person was now on the same side of the street as me. My heart started to race. I started walking faster. According to my phone, Andrew's house was coming up just on the right. I texted him to come outside, please, because I think I'm being followed. He replied back, okay. I turned one more time as I heard the sound of shoes running on the sidewalk, approaching from behind me, and I saw the guy in the black hoodie running at me. I screamed and ran as fast as I could for about 5 seconds before seeing Andrew run to the front of his house in confusion. I turned around again and saw the guy in black running the opposite direction down the street. I keep saying the guy in black, but I know it was Mike. That guy had an identical height to him from what I could tell. A few instances happened after that, like getting calls with no caller ID and seeing Mike's car parked outside my parents' house in the middle of the night. My parents were aware of what was going on, and one day, my dad drove us over to Mike's house and knocked on the front door while I was in the car and had a long, loud talk with Mike's parents. I lowered the windows to listen, and most notably, what my dad yelled was that he doesn't care how old Mike is, that it's still harassment, and if he keeps trying to contact me in any way that we'd get police involved. It works. Mike stopped trying to contact me after that. For those wondering, Andrew and I ended up dating for around a year. My relationship with Mike was an early lesson in my life to watch out for red flags.